Reach for the speed, reach for the whistle, go where the rail may run. Reach for the words, reach for the story, follow the rainbow sun. To a shining time station, where dreams can come true, waiting there for you.
The engines were finding life difficult. A huge snowstorm hit the full bucket line. This is quite a rare occasion, since that the line is one big desert. Not anymore. It's become a frozen tundra. Mr. Strupp, Mr. Iverson, and Mr. Wilsman didn't want to close the line, so Big Mac and Lewis were on their way trying to clear the main lines. But it did no good. The snow was falling down fast and they couldn't keep up. All trains were delayed. In fact, even in Lakehurst, there's not even one siding emptied. Every passenger service that goes through the line was delayed, especially Luke with the Bucketliner Daylight. He was stuck in Las Vegas for a couple of days and he didn't like that at all. But after those days passed, the snow finally died down. Luke was able to get the train to Fort Fairfax safely, where Tyler would take over from there. After Tyler left with the Bucketliner Daylight, Luke went into the yard to get some rest. His fireman left his fire on to keep him nice and warm, and to make sure none of his parallel tubes will freeze during the night. He began to doze off when he heard a distant whistle. Huh? What was that? Oh, probably just the wind. Luke looked around, but he didn't see anybody. So he began to doze off again when the sound of pistons began to fill the yard. Luke opened his eyes and saw a mighty Cat Ford entering the yard.
Well, if there's a daylight in this yard, then I must be in the right place. I'm Larry.
Yeah. Mr. Iverson has been inspecting you. I'm Luke. Since Mr. Iverson cannot be here, he asked me to tell you that you have a train.
Train? Oh, perfect. I'll take it immediately. Where is it?
It's right there next to you. It needs to go up to Union Pacific's Lakehurst.
Union Pacific? Ugh. I'm no fan of UP myself, but if a train needs to get there, I'll take it.
Alright, see you, Larry. Don't let the Union Pacific engines bug you. They're not all bad.
Alright then, goodbye, Larry. I'll be back in a bit.
Larry coupled up to the boxcars and proceeded to Lakehurst. Later on that day, Larry was heading back to Fort Fairfax, but was forced to head on to a siding in St. Joseph to let Connor to pass.
I don't believe it. I want to get off the Union Pacific track, and that forced me into a siding.
Connor was making good time. When he saw Larry, he applied his brakes as hard as he could and stopped right next to him.
Hey, backward!
What? Talking to me?
No, I'm talking with the other backwards, no notice.
Why am I backwards?
Your cab is in the front.
Well, how do I know you're not backwards?
Because I'm not.
Who says?
I do.
Oh, so you're thinking no effort then.
Well, no, but...
I'm in Southern Pacific Cat 4. On other parts of the SP, there are many tunnels where engines, like yourself, go through these tunnels. The smoke builds up and your crew chokes on them. These fumes are unhealthy for them, and the smoke blocks their view. To help solve the problem, they invented me. Since my smokestack is behind the cab, my crew is not in my fumes, but fresh air. Plus, with my cab up front, my engineer has a better view of the track to come, compared to a cab which has a big boiler in the way. You understand?
What? You say something?
Just give me one, fat boy, so I can get home.
Fat boy, how dare you? I'm not a fat boy.
Oh yeah, you're one of those Challenger locomotives. What do you challenge exactly?
Me? Well, I challenge the Greys up.
Gravity?
Why I oughta...
Just then, Luke and Boots pulled up to break the fight. Connor, what's going on over here?
Thank God. Listen, this cab full. He thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's so revolutionary. He called me a fat boy.
And I said you challenged gravity, but that's beside the point. You called me backwards.
Guys, quit it. Larry, we gotta clear the main tracks all the way back to Fort Fairfax. Let's get going.
Fine. I need to leave the presents in this ashtray.
Roar!
Alright, let's get out of here, Larry. See you, Hoots. Alright. Bye, Luke. Bye, Larry.
Why are you saying goodbye?
We're all engines here, Connor. And you should be acting like one, too. This whole mess up here and fighting just caused confusion and delay.
Fine.
Alright. Now, let's get...
Kazoo time. You feel okay?
Yeah, never better. Soon, Oots and Connor were on their way. They dropped off the train and returned to Lakehurst, but it was soon discovered that Oots was not okay. He had come down with the flu. Now, the flu for steam engines is not like the flu for human beings. The flu for Oots meant that one of his fluids had gone bad. Workers immediately went to work, but they were unable to repair him fast enough so that he could get steamed up again for the early morning fuel train. So Mr. Strep decided to send Connor instead. The plan was for Connor was to take the fuel train to Simonville, head back to Fort Fairfax, pick up Larry's fruit train, and then head back to Lakehurst with it. But since Connor and Larry had gone into a fight that afternoon, Mr. Strupp arranged with Mr. Iverson to have both trains just go to the final destinations. It was agreed that Connor would pass Larry at Yonders, and after Connor passed over onto the other line, Larry would continue on to Lakehurst. 3 a.m. Showtime for both trains.
If I'm all clear, let's depart.
Let's get going. I want to beat Larry to the crossroads. That will show how useful he is.
And then the trains were off. Larry pulled out slowly and began to pick up speed. He wanted to beat Connor to the crossover. Meanwhile in Lakehurst, Connor was overexcited. He was trying to leave too fast. His wheels were spinning, and no matter how hard his crew tried, they couldn't get him to slow up and get the train moving.
Sand! Give me sand! Then I'll get going.
His engineer pulled a lever and soon sand was gathering on the tracks. Connor's wheels gripped and he pulled forward.
Finally, let's roll.
Unknown to the engines, they were both racing to get to the crossover at Yonders first. Both trains were highballing, but little did they know that they were heading straight for disaster. After a half an hour of switching, Big Mac was finally done.
What was the point of that?
Yeah, now we just switch places.
Yeah, you two are also coupled on backward.
Except Larry, he's coupled on forward.
Shut up. If you two backwards, you can pull the trains now.
You know he's right.
Yeah, Big Max, I think this fruit is spoiling. Pull me.
The point is that you can pull yourself.
Yeah? And your point is to pull one of us.
Fine. Larry, after I pull Connor out of your way, you should be able to continue on. If you need help, feel free to call.
No worries, I can do it. Let's get that fruit moving.
Yes, sir. Come on, Connor.
Big Mac coupled onto Connor and quickly pulled the fruit train towards Lakehurst. Larry, once he had the all clear, eyeballed it back to Fort Fairfax. Both trains arrived on time, and both Larry and Connor were soon sent off to be repaired. 3 weeks later, the snow finally melted. It was springtime. The birds were chirping, the flowers were blooming, yada yada blah blah blah. Back to the trains! Larry was resting after pulling his first freight train in a long time. Connor had just arrived with his train too, and he pulled up to talk to Larry.
Oh, hello, Connor. Here to taunt me?
No, I came to apologize to you, Larry. I realize that engines all have different views.
Well, I accept your apology. Hey, so, what made you change your mind?
Oots threatened me to push me off a cliff.
You're a friend of Connor.
No, literally. Oots threatened me to push me off a cliff, but with some advice from Dylan, I understood. So, friends?
Friends. So, tell me about this Dylan character. Who's he?
Larry and Connor talked all afternoon, and from then on, they became best friends. But little did they know that Luke and Jimmy were watching. See, Jimmy? After going through about 5 episodes, can't you learn to like other railroads?
What are the railroads?
Jimmy? Ignoring the problem won't help.
Wait a sec, we have a problem going on here?
Do I have to push you off a cliff?
Do we even have a cliff?
Alright, that's it. You probably got into the diesel fuel again. I'm taking you to the works. Don't try and stop me. Alright. So while Luke posed the delusional Jimmy to have his boiler flushed, again another chapter of the Rail Wars close. But as many people